Let's cross live to Georgia Gilholy, political commentator. Morning to you, Georgia.
Hi, good morning.
It's all about the party, isn't it? Now, you are a younger person yourself, it's fair to say. Surely, I don't want to sort of be ageist in any way, but surely you must understand why those people needed to have that party in Downing Street, or not?
I hate to sound boring, but I'm actually not that much of a partier myself, though I think, especially when you're working in a high pressure environment, a lot of those kind of workspaces, you have drinks at the end of the week or some other nights of the week, maybe to kind of relieve the pressure. But I think the obvious point here is that the people who are being exposed for these multiple gatherings during lockdown, they were the people who are responsible for formulating and implementing these rules. So I think that's what the public is saying. Whether or not we'll find out whether they were actually violating the law officially, I think is not actually that relevant because people see the hypocrisy.
Is it worse that Boris Johnson, Carrie Johnson broke these rules than Keir Starmer? Is it on the same level as Keir Starmer? The photograph of him holding the beer, apparently at a work meeting, just having a break in order to eat, though that brings into question what actually constitutes a party. But should he be held to the same level of account, or is it worse that the Prime Minister broke rules?
I think when it comes to Keir Starmer and Boris Johnson, they really should be held to the same level of scrutiny because Boris Johnson is the Prime Minister and Keir Starmer would, I believe, like to be the Prime Minister. And Carrie Johnson, she's a public figure, so whether or not it sort of is relevant to the way people would vote, I guess it's not as relevant her breaking the rules because she's not standing for election, though she obviously has a degree of influence. She's the wife of the Prime Minister. I think it's not necessarily on the same level. But I think when we get into these nitty-gritty conversations, I think it sort of just really exposes the fact that these rules in the first place were ridiculous. The fact that we're talking about, is it bad to have a drink during a work meeting, or is it wrong to put your arm around your friend? I think this is the point. The rules were, there were too much in the first place, and you cannot expect people to monitor their activity in such a way.
Is it
with
then,
the threat of the sword of Damocles of the government hanging over them?
I disagree. I think it is slightly worse when the Prime Minister, the top job, breaks rules, but that doesn't take away from it still being bad, and horrifically bad, that the leader of the opposition might have as well. But I do think that the buck stops always with the top job, with the Prime Minister. However, I wonder whether you think more MPs should now speak out against the very rules that they voted for, and if they're not, why aren't they?
The problem is that, okay, I would like to see more MPs speaking up against this, but the problem is this has already happened. COVID is mostly over, and these MPs and ministers who voted for these rules, I'm sorry, when it gets to the next election, I'm just not going to buy it that they regret it or they will never do such a thing again. I'm not going to buy it, and I don't think the majority of voters are going to either.
All right, political commentator Georgia Gilholy, thank you very much indeed.